horseradish. I've never mixed horseradish with spicy mustard. That sounds like a special dish there. Now, it's been quite some time since I had horseradish, but when I had it, I really enjoyed it. I don't remember what I ate with it. Probably ham. And it's been almost as long as I had horseradish as I had kimchi. Kimchi is, I think, a fermented cabbage. I used to really be into that for a while. And Chad, watching the interaction with the deer with each other, well, I was watching a dove and this sparrow while I was on the patio. They stayed 2 foot away from each other and walked all around the patio that far apart, looking for little crumbs. So I was quite amused with that. That's you, 88LMC, WA2AXZ here, and this is 1721. I was going to call it the 72 Chew, but it doesn't matter. We're all good friends no matter where we go. Hey, KB1HPV.
Ah, yes, horseradish, spicy mustard. I have a recipe in my mind. I make these oven-roasted potatoes. You can use either white potatoes like Idaho's and cut them up into French fry shape, or you can just make like random, small pieces. What I use most of the time is the red skin russet potatoes. And you take a 1/4 cup each of olive oil and golden spicy mustard. And you cut the potatoes up in small pieces. If you're really fanatical, you soak them in water for an hour to get some of the starch out. And then you drain them and pat them dry. And you throw them in a big baking dish, spread out 1 layer thick. And you pour this Goulden's mustard and olive oil mixture over the potatoes, and you toss them around, coat them all. And then you sprinkle it with a little bit of Parmesan cheese and a little rosemary or some parsley or whatever. And you bake it in the oven for half an hour for about 350. And then you take it out, you stir them up again, you turn them over and distribute them again in the baking dish. Sprinkle a little bit more. Sometimes on the second go-round, I use a little pizza cheese and sprinkle over them. And then you put them back in and you crank the heat up to about 400 for maybe 15 minutes. And then you just take them out and enjoy them after. They're absolutely delicious. The olive oil and the spicy mustard mixed together. I put it in a measuring cup with a whisk and whisk it all together. And hey, it comes out pretty darn tasty. It goes with almost any kind of meat, chicken, ham, whatever you're thinking of. And it's just a real simple dish that is very, very tasty. My wife's girlfriend that came down from West Virginia for my wife's birthday, she wanted to know if I was going to make her favorite potatoes. And I told her, but of course I am, you know that. So she was quite happy to sit down and have dinner with us. Back to net, we'll hang for one more round here. WA2AXZ from KB1HPV.
I tell you, there are so many tasty dishes out there, and it's remarkable. My mom had a box with all these dishes here, and Kerry's got the box, and she's working on it, and between working and everything else, she makes some of the stuff that Mom used to make, and it's good. And that's that round, get around, I'm getting round. That's all the good stuff that I seem to be eating the past couple of years. Hey, LGO, give it a go.
WA2AXZ, KB3, LGO. Well, I'm just looking up a little antenna information. Let me see, I have the ARRL 1970 antenna book, and also I believe this is the 2004. That was the year I got licensed. The 2004 antenna book. So I'm just looking up some antenna information, particularly on end-fed antennas that are fed with ladder lines. So just go to the page 7-4 in Chapter 7. I'm going to take a look at this. That is a style of antenna that I'm running, an end-fed with ladder line feed. So I want to learn a few the technicalities about this feed system with the end-fed antenna. But anyway, band sounds in pretty good shape tonight. I'm copying everyone very well. And Marlon makes me turn down the volume whenever he gets one. I'm not sure. Must be his proximity to me there. I guess he's about 100 miles or so away, maybe not quite that much. But yeah, Marlon is kind of my, kind of lets me know that my AGC circuit isn't foolproof. He gets through it quite well. Anyway, let's see, I think that's all I got for this round. I'm just doing some reading as I listen along here. Back to the WWA2AXZ KB3LGO.
All right, KB3LGO WA2AXZ here. And this is the nightly 1721 where the temperature just hit 60 degrees. We went from 75 to 60, so 15 degrees evaporated into the air. So we'll have to see what happens for the rest of the night here. Hey, we're going to go back up to Ron, TAW, and we'll continue with 1721.
Very good, Lobie. Yeah, I just heard from LGO there that looking up on that end-fed antenna. I remember a couple of years ago I made one from plans from an ARRL magazine. Forget it exactly. I think it was probably about 15 years ago, I think, something like that. But it was a 80-meter end-fed antenna, and I looked at it, and it's one of these things where you got to get all the parts yourselves and build it. And I liked that because I thought that was a challenge. So it took me a while to order some parts off of eBay, and then hook it together. And it was actually made for kind of like for camping or remote or emergency situations, is what it said. So rated for 100 watts, and it was kind of fun because he did give some advice on since you're working with the end of the antenna, there's potential for high voltage, and so you got to insulate things. And so it took me a while to study that, but it was fun doing it. Anyway, I assembled the whole thing, and an 80 meter, of course, is kind of long, and so I took my bow and arrow and I shot a line over one of my trees, and was able to pull it up to the top of the tree to peak there, and then droop it down over, and then just tie it off. And what I wanted to see, of course, is just how well it responds, and I was using it to try to get on one of the local nets here that's in my state of Michigan, for the most part. Michigan, a little bit of Ohio and Indiana, and see if they could pick me up reasonably well on 100 watts or less. And it has a little capacitor tuning that you could adjust to get the SWR down. I could get down the road good. And I really was amazed that they were picking me up quite well. I mean, everyone was giving me 5.7 type signal rating off of it in the local area. So I thought, well, this is really a nice little success. I never took it camping because at first that was my plan originally, but every time I went out camping, trees weren't just in the right place or something like that. Or, of course, I'd be bringing a bow and arrow, and I didn't want to disturb anybody and park before anything shooting that up. But what I did instead was I would hook it up in my backyard and then sit in my gazebo and just get on it and move back. And I think part of the reason why it works so well is that it was sitting at the top of the tree. I mean, well, when I'm speaking on right now, my antenna right now is being suspended. It's an inverted L. It's being suspended by a limb on a tree, but I'm not at the very top of the tree. It's much, much higher. And but this end bit, it was light enough I could shoot the thing way over, and it just droops over the top of the tree. So it's sitting up there at about 70 feet up, which is a good, much better than any of my other antennas. And so that really helped it to work really well. So if the warm weather here continues, I could just sit back in the gazebo. What I'd love to do was sit back there and have a tea or coffee or something like that, and that would be one of my antennas with my remote unit, and kind of like pretend I'm camping, just sit amongst the trees and get out of the shack and enjoy the outdoor breeze, and be able to do that sometimes in the wee hours of the evening, and so that was always very enjoyable for me, and I hope to do it again this year. So back to WA2AXV. This is November 8th, Tango Alpha Whiskey.
NATAWWA2AXV. When I have my little pop-up camper open, my little guy always wants to go in it and pretend he's camping. So we used to do this in Brooklyn with Bobby and Riley. We used to open up the camper in the driveway, and it was an adventure for them. I'd put on the TV, they'd have a VCR in there, and they'd have a ball, having a party. They have a couple of friends over. And now that I'm out here in Wisconsin, the little guy wants to go in the camper. So on one night or maybe a weekend, what we do is we set it up, and he and Daddy and Mommy go into the camper, and Grandpa's got the house to himself and the radio. So we'll probably do that again this year. MLY, WA2AXZ here. Give it a try.
Okay, Lobby, very good. Thanks a lot. WB2MLY, Port Huron, Michigan. And, well, I have Gold's horseradish in my refrigerator here, available at our local Grand Union, name of the store. And it's good. It's very good. But it does not compare for hotness to the horseradish that we would get in a they used to have these marts. I don't know if they still have them or not. It was called the Pennsauken Mart. It was right in New Jersey, across from Philly, and you could go over there, and right at the end of the mart, it was a food store and an all-purpose kind of store, and it's way before Sam's or any of those guys. Anyway, the Amish did have a food stand there, and they would have on a tray, they would put a couple dozen Cheez-It crackers out on a tray with their horseradish on the top of the Cheez-It crackers, and they were free. The first time I went there and saw it, I said, "Oh boy, I like horseradish. I'm gonna get a couple of these things." And I didn't get past the first one. Oh man. With Golds as they used to, this is the circumstances we live in and everything, where everybody wants to sue everybody else. They can, they probably have notched it down a little bit, and to avoid, legal action. Yeah, that can be pretty potent. And of course, in the factories where they make it, I've seen where they make it. You know, on Modern Marvels, they had people have to wear respirators and all kinds of hoods and stuff so that they don't have any any wellness issues. And but yeah, they make it really interesting how it's made. So back to you, Lovey. WA2AXZ, WB2MLY.
And the WA2AXZ here, and again, between the horseradish and you guys have to talk to W4WEL Scott. Scott makes peppers. He grows super hot peppers. You've had the ghost peppers, and they have some other ones hotter than that. And Scotty one day sent me 2 bottles of the pepper sauce that he makes. And he says, what you have to do is this. Just take the tip of a toothpick, dip it in, and put it on your tongue. And I did that, and it took the battalion aide 5 days to put the fire out. He makes some good stuff, and he makes some hot stuff there. So the next time he gets on, I'm sure he'll regale us with the tales of the peppers. LXZ.
Okay, very good, Loeb. WA2AXZ with KB3LXZ. Yeah, that makes you want a big cold glass of milk or something there, thinking about that pepper concoction there. That's for sure. And yeah, Ray, that's something about the where they make the horseradish. Having the employees suit up, before hitting the assembly line there, so to speak. And yeah, I guess too the fumes and just the material itself and everything. If you're exposed to it a long time, could do some damage. No doubt about that. And let's see, Chad, I enjoyed your recipe there on the potatoes. I think I'm going to give that a whirl, and in the next couple of days or so here, hopefully, and that sounded pretty good. So tried to remember everything there and write down a few things. So we'll give that a shot, and hopefully it comes out as good as yours there. That's for sure. Sounds great. Oh boy. Anyway, hey, great to hear everybody in here tonight. Pretty decent conditions here on the band, so that's always appreciated. And let's see, I think I'll say my 7-3s here for tonight, and get maybe have some ice cream or something, and watch just a little TV. And get ready and go to bed and get up and head to Butler tomorrow. Anyway, we'll send her back to you, Loeb. We'll say goodnight to Ron there, TAW, and Walt, LGO, good evening to you, and to Ray there as well. Bill, PKS, great talking about the mustard and horseradish tonight. Dan, LMC, good to hear you this evening. And Chad, great to hear you tonight as well, and hope that dough, comes along okay and has a good, who knows, 2 or 3 offspring there maybe. All right, Bo, we'll send her back to you, and don't work too hard up there tomorrow. WA2AXZ with KB3LXZ. Good night, guys. Take care.
Marlon, have yourself a great night. Fantastic to have you here, and we'll continue our food chat another day. As I said, we took anything from nuclear physics to, what do you call it, habanero peppers, so we'll see what happens in between. PKS, Bill.
All right, very good, Lobie. WA2, AXZ, 1721 Roundtable, KB1 PKS. Well, I'm going to follow Martin and go out the back door there, or the front door, or exit stage left, or whatever you want to call it there. But it's a good night, and I want to wave a hand there once again to Dan, LMC. Good to hear you, Dan. And to Chad, HTV, and to Walt, LGO, and to Ron, CAW, and to Ray, MLY. And especially thank you, Lobie, WA2, AXZ, and the 1721 Roundtable, KB1, PKS, good night, 7-3s, and God bless.
Good night to you,
Well, Phil, have yourself a great night, and I sent you the link to the trolley museum there, and if you look it up, and again, I don't know if they're running it during the week. In springtime, sometimes they don't, but if they have the museum open, you can walk around in there, see what's inside. And again, if you see all the bricks with the names on it, you probably find me there as part of the group that keeps the museum going. This is WA2 AXZ, and we're going to go to KD8 LMC.
All right, Lobie, I'm going to follow them out the door as well. And Walt, I know he didn't mean to, but I've been doing a search on in-fit antennas with ladder line. That's fascinating. And, oh yeah, food is always good to talk about. Thanks for writing in, Lobie. Everybody have a great evening. See you tomorrow. WA2, AXZ, KD8 LMC.
Now, listen, have yourself a good day. And again, we'll reconvene again tomorrow. By the way, gang, I'm on the Rooster roster tomorrow at 7:30. So if you have Echo Link and want to come on at 7:30, WA2NAN or the AC2GE machines, that's where we'll be. All right, hey, let's go to HPV.
All righty there, gentlemen. This is KB1 HPV. I want to send my 7-3s along to everybody. I think I'll go light the wood stove in the living room. It's starting to cool down a little bit. They're saying it's going to hit the 30s again. It's so clear there's absolutely nothing to hold the heat in. So I'm going to have a little fire, keep the house warm before we go to bed. And hey, it'll probably be nice and toasty when we get up still. So lots of fun tonight. Thank you for allowing me to be part of it. It's always a lot of fun, no matter the subject matter. Radio, food, woodworking, music, guitars, whatever. It's all good. That's the best part. 7-3 stall from KB1 HPV, Grayson County, Virginia.
Good night, Chad.
Chad, have yourself a great night. And go and enjoy. That's all I say. Go and enjoy. Give my best to the XYL. And we'll go to LGO now.
WA2 AXZ, KB3 LGO. Okay, Lobie, well, nice night on the radio tonight. Dan's in pretty good shape. It is time to check out there. Follow the rest of the crew out the door. So you take care, have a good night. Anybody that's on frequency, have a good night. And take it easy on the Kenmore tonight there, Lobie. This is KB3 LGO saying 73. And good night.
All right, well, we're going to definitely catch you this week. Walt, have a fantastic one. And again, we'll catch you again mañana. This is WA2 AXZ. We'll go to NATAW and then MLY. Could say goodnight to Swanguli and Miss Calabash, wherever she is. TAW.
Very, very good there, Lobie. Yeah, I was just thinking that I went on the website and looked on the 73 Chew net that you fellows have, and that looks like quite a sophisticated net. And what I saw on the web and the flyers you send out look very, very colorful, very, very well made. And I was showing it to my ex-YL, and she's a ham as well, but she's a technician. That's as far as she got. She's pretty impressed with it. I can't get on the 40 meters because I just have the antennas I have 20, 80, and well, this one 160. And my 20 meter I can change to a 10, so I oscillate it. I switch it because it's an elevated vertical between a 10 and a 20. Excuse me. But I'm finally looking into if I can get the kind of antenna tuner that I'd like to get. I was just looking for the one I wanted to get, and a lot of them are out of stock. But my plan is to change my 80 meter antenna into a window line, from coax to window line, and then with the tuner try to be able to get on 80 and 40 and maybe the other bands, and to see how it is, because I've never worked with window line. But that's my goal this summer. So hopefully this summer I'll be able to get on your 40 meter Chew and participate in that, and it's the kind of thing I'm really looking forward to. I like when I see people that put a lot of work into nets, and there's so many of them out there. And this one just both listening to it and looking at the site and all that, it looks pretty good. So I'm going to sit back and listen. I want to wish 73 to everybody, all those that are left. The reception tonight was very, very good, and without the storms or anything else, and the weather today was great. So 73 to all. This is November 8 Tango Alpha Whiskey, and back to WA2AXZ.
All right, NACAW, WA2AXZ. You know, if you got the 80 meter antenna, you put a wide range tuner on that thing, you'll get the 40 and get out like gangbusters. So maybe you should play around a little bit and just see if you can get the thing tuned to 72, 72. Surprise you. Again tomorrow, let's see who's on tomorrow. Tomorrow is the Tuesday, and you happen to have Brett, KB8MQR. You got Rich in New York, KC2CZK, and AB2UE. So that's the lineup for tomorrow. And again, if you can get the thing running on 40 meters, check in with the gang and see what you can do. And now, without any further ado, or without any further alarm, we're going to go back up to WB2MLY, and he knows what to do with the hammer and nails. It's all yours.
WA2AXE, WB2MLY, Port Huron, Michigan. And we are at the point of the net tonight where we fulfill our responsibility to to humanity and the human community in keeping the evil Svengoolie in his coffin for another night. And so it's my privilege to summon the 12 apostles of the apocalypse to help me with this task. And here we go. 12 nails from the 12 apostles of the apocalypse. We'll meet again tomorrow night, Lord willing, and the creeks don't rise. And good night, Mrs. Calabash, wherever you are. Cha-cha-cha.
And now, folks, that's it for Broadway. Good night to all of you. And good night, Mrs. Calabash. Well, Eddie.
We'll say goodnight to Jimmy. We'll say goodnight to you. Say goodnight to everybody. This is WA2AXZ here in Nineland, and we're going to shut things down for another great evening. And I'm going to go QSY to the Kenmore Frigidator. A blessed night to all. I'm done. Stick a fork in me.
Good night, Mr. Calabash in Hubertus, Wisconsin.